Thank you very much, Freak. I'm standing by with Crown in the mid lane coming off a fantastic performance on Victor. And the first thing I have to ask you, Crown, is you guys were really looking for revenge in this matchup. What was the deciding factor in this victory?
이번 TSM과의 경기에서 이제 복수를 아마 꿈꿨을 것 같은데 오늘 승리의 가장 큰 요인은 어떤 것이 있었나요?
저희가 요즘 연습 때도 그렇고 실수를 엄청 많이 하거든요. 그래서 그 실수를 좀 많이 줄이자고 계속 서로 콜을 하고, 예, 실수가 그래도 있었지만, 네, 그래도 실수를 상대보다 적게 해서 이겼던 것 같아요.
While we were practicing and preparing for this match, there are a lot of big mistakes during our scrims and practice, so we tried to minimize those mistakes. And I think overall, the winning factor of this game was because we made less mistakes than TSM.
Well, a lot of eyes were also on that mid lane matchup of you versus Bjergsen. I know you said that you had a lot of respect for him. Why do you think you won that lane so heavily?
그 이제 크라운 선수가 비역슨 선수를 매우 존중하고 좋은 선수라고 이제 평가하는 건 익히 들었지만 어쨌든 이렇게 크게 미드라인전에서 승리를 거두게 된 요인은 무엇이 있을까요?
아마도 저에게 빅토르를 풀어준 것? 네, 그거인 것 같아요.
I think it's because they let me play Victor.
That's what I figured. In any case, Crown, we saw you after regionals being very, very emotional and just very happy to come to Worlds, but now you've already got 2 victories. There is a chance that you can get out of groups. What are your expectations for the rest of the day?
그 크라운 선수 이제 한국 LCK에서 이제 국대 선발전 당시에 이제 매우 감정적으로 기뻐한 모습을 보여주셨는데 오늘도 이제 2경기만 더 승리를 거두면 8강에 진출하게 됩니다. 지금 오늘 남은 각오랑 소감 말씀해 주세요.
아직 2경기가 남았는데 둘 다 이제 엄청 잘하는 팀들이라 아직 네, 긴장을 하고 있고요. 아직도 긴장감을 유지하고 남은 경기도 깔끔하게 이기고 네, 그때 좋았던 감정이 복받쳤던 것처럼 오늘도 될 수 있을지 모르겠지만 열심히 해보도록 하겠습니다.
So the remaining 2 opponents, Splice and RNG, they're both really strong teams. So I don't want to keep my guards down. I want to keep my game going and I want to keep my guards down. So hopefully by the end of the day, I can once again feel that emotion after the game day's over.
We will see. And with this win, you actually have 3 wins, so in very good position. Thank you very much, Crown and Homan. And Analyst Desk, take it away.
Thank you very much, Shock. Samsung Galaxy going to be happy to have picked up a win here on the first game of the day, but I don't think either team is going to be incredibly excited about the way that they played because it did not come easily for them. And this game, in all honesty, plenty of mistakes. So let's dive into it right off the bat. Let's talk about this very messy early game. Mistakes going both ways.
Oh, we saw this coming from a mile away. I mean, so Svenskeren, a jungler, used to invade with pressure, but right here, his top lane is not in a position to collapse while Rumble is, and Ambition just reads him immediately. He has to go, and this first kill is just going to be so influential for the pressure that Cube is going to be able to maintain throughout the laning phase and on.
Yeah, and honestly, after you picked up the first kill, it's very easy to go for the second one, which is dive to poor Kennen on the tower. So it was actually a good matchup for Hanser, but he got put behind here because of his own jungle, and I think it's something Svenskeren has done before, especially back in the NALCS where he invades without pressure. Didn't see it last week, but now he made the mistake. And then this happens in the mid lane. Bjergsen misplays big time.
The biggest thing to me is you can't really say great plays or poor plays from either direction. It's a combination of both. So yes, there's mistakes. Yes, they're reading TSM like a book, or Svenskeren's invading, capitalizing. They're also playing it well when they are doing it. But these mistakes are happening from both sides constantly. It was really messy and back and forth.
And a crazy stat about Bjergsen is that in his last 81 games, he's only died 3 times in the first 15 minutes and never twice. Solo death.
Meaning
this
1v1.
is the first time that's ever happened. That just shows how much of an off game he
You're
had.
so smart, man. You just remember the last 81 games he played. You're like, yeah.
That's what
He
happened.
recalled them all. He watches them all. But as you mentioned, this wasn't where kind of the misplays ended for both teams, and where we did see struggling in both the solo lanes for TSM, part and due because of Svenskeren. The bot lane of Biofrost and Doublelift actually did play well in lane.
Yeah.
Such a weird trade, honestly. First of all, the trade should never happen against the Karma Lucian. You don't really want to go all in, but Doublelift does get caught. And Zach, what happens here?
This should be a kill. He spits him out too early, gives him the opportunity to flash away. Very unfortunate, you'd say, in terms of communication, but for what it's worth, TSM then dive ruler afterwards. They do make the most out of what was another mistake.
Yeah, it really feels like both teams were just kind of handing the lead over to each other. Like first, TSM is like, here, you know, Rusty, take my pin.
Playing volleyball.
This is your pin now.
You can
Now
have
I want
that
this
one?
pin instead.
Yeah.
But actually, I think I'm going to give it back to you as well, and I'll take this one again. Like, they kept just giving each other gold when they didn't have to, and it honestly disappointed me. Because I think the first 20 minutes is so important in this current meta, and if you make these mistakes again, you're going to play RNG later, who we know will have a super strong laning phase. You're going to get punished even more, and it's not good enough.
Right, but we have throughout the tournament talked about Samsung Galaxy being happy to move into the mid game with, you know, an even or slight gold advantage. They found themselves a pick, and I want to revisit this key catch here by Samsung that was in the mid lane, brought to you by Acer. Spelled kind of disaster for TSM with a Baron picked up on the backside.
And even though they have Zilean, there's no rewind in time right here. This happened twice. This happened in the exact same match as Splice before. TSM rotating from top side to middle is going to get caught out, and there's going to be 3 people dying here, which is going to lead to the mid lane turret and the Baron, which is just so unreal to see.
The biggest thing about this to me as well is Bjergsen was just bottom. They just used the Zilean ultimate and the Cannon ultimate. There was no rotation available, and the laziness of slacking off and going towards the middle lane through risky pathing gets this happening to you.
Now, after this, I actually think the game got much better. Like, once we got away from these first 20 minutes where both teams made a lot of mistakes, we had some really, really cool late game team fights. We had one where TSM showed how to play their comp, like dodge around that Rumble ulti, kind of wait for that first engage to be over, and then you can send the Lucian and he can dance around and actually carry. But Samsung also showed really good shot calling around like Barons, understood how to take them, when to go out and kill Svenskeren and not actually risk the 50-50. I guess they slightly risked it actually, so I'll take it back a little bit of the praise, but I think they played much better late game than early.
I mean, you saw in that gold graph, it just went like this the whole way, whereas yesterday we were, you know, pleased to see gold graphs that were gradually, you know, or exponentially rising in showing that teams, once they had control of the game, could take it all the way through. That didn't seem to be the case really for either team here, Crumbs.
Yeah, and for TSM, even though they got to a point where they were able to contest division around Baron, the reason why they couldn't really force an objective is because of just how important wave control in mid lane is. The team composition from Samsung just clears so fast, and it catches you out of position. The slows from the Jhin ultimate, the time camps that can port behind you, on top of the Rylai's from Victor, you have to move as a 4-man unit, and you just can't afford to waste that much time, because when you go into the red side, into the jungle, one use of sweeper just completely kills the vision.
Exactly, that's the key one. One sweeper clears almost everything. You got to go back to base, get more wards, and do the same thing over and over. And you can just get punished so easily with it, and then you just have to constantly reset the map.
All right, well, player of the game is going to go to Crown. Of course, you already mentioned the statistics for Bjergsen and Lane, but Crown seemed to have his number this time around, and then some huge DPS on that Victor and team fights.
You have to say the solo kills that happened, it's a surprise that Bjergsen dies at all, but when Bjergsen's even playing Zilean, it's more surprising, so very well played from Crown to have to.
All right, well, game 1 is in the books, and TSM fans will be disappointed, but Samsung Galaxy off to the races here. Now, after the break, Splice steps back in to face off with RNG. We'll be right back.
Yeah, my ruins. I don't think I have any of them. Yeah, me neither. But they don't seem that important. Do I need them?
Okay, dodges the first Praising, but now getting slowed down by Kuma. Then flash knockup! That's not enough life for Svenskeren. First blood comes through. Plenty damage onto Ambition. Slicing Maelstrom comes through. They will kill off the Rek'Sai. 1-0. And now Doubleth versus Crown. Bioffers to help the Culling. Knocks him down. Here's the teleport to join in. Hanser in the back line, but gets exhausted. How much is the follow-up damage? Perfect shield from Core JJ. That's going to be Kube burning down. The chase in, and Doubleth gets 1. He gets 2. They can finish during the Guardian Angel. Doubleth runs in, gets revived, but the health bars are so low. Sven, what's he going to choose? Is it Baron or is it the fight? Doubleth gets the trade kill in a crowd. The Baron steal. No, it's going to go to Samsung Galaxy, and they've got complete control. Samsung Galaxy gets revenge on TSM and holds on to first place for now.